Here we are, part 2 of Amberlynn Read's all-new series, this time titled Let's Talk, which is apparently code for let me talk at you while pretending it's for you. This isn't communication, it's damage controlling glitter. She's calling her segments things like sipping community and the interview. I'd mock it further, but she's already doing the work for me. She claims that this is her being vulnerable, present and transparent. A weekly confessional to clarify rumours, address speculation, and respond to criticism. Yet somehow it's still all structured to keep her exactly where she thrives, above reproach and beneath accountability. She really thinks that this is the series that's going to rebrand her into some introspective sage. We go first into sipping community because nothing says accountability quite like infantilizing your audience with puns while dodging responsibility. The first question is a thoughtful, pointed comparison. Is Amberlynn's refusal to seek inpatient care similar to a drug addict refusing rehab? Her answer is that she thinks inpatient would be fun. Fun. Recovery isn't supposed to be fun. It can be brutal, raw, and often humiliating, but it's necessary. Her refusal has nothing to do with logistics or pet care or even finances. It has everything to do with control. She can't film it, she can't spin it, she can't curate it, and so it has to be avoided. She says she'd consider inpatient if she could vlog it for YouTube. So to clarify, she won't save her life unless it comes with an ad revenue. Noted. Next, she's asked, why is it okay for you to speculate on Zachary Michael's mental health but not for others to speculate on yours? Her response is a masterclass in deflection laced with victimhood. He hurt me, so now it's my turn. It's not rebuttal, it's just revenge poorly dressed as empowerment. She weaponizes fake introspection the same way she weaponizes her audience's pity, constantly and clumsily. She's asked if she's travelled since breaking up with Beck. She lists Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Tennessee, Michigan, Illinois. It's not quite a grand tour. And then, perhaps the most harrowing question of all, what do you estimate your life expectancy to be, and what will you do with the time? She says early 50s, 53, maybe 54. She knows exactly where this is headed, but she still chooses Uber Eats over hydration. This is calculated negligence. Changing would mean surrendering the cycle, and the cycle's profitable. She frames it like a fork in the road. Either she flops like a fish or works to extend her life. And we know which one it's going to be. A viewer asks her how it feels to be stuck in a time loop while others move on, graduate, get married, and evolve. She responds with the classic fallacy, everyone has a different timeline. Yes, but not everyone monetizes their stagnation. She insists that she isn't in a loop. She's grown, evolved, matured. She cites being single, managing money, and enjoying time alone. But self-sufficiency isn't the same thing as growth. Paying rent doesn't mean you've grown. Ordering less takeout than before doesn't mean you're transforming. She's adapting to comfort, not confronting discomfort. And while others face themselves quietly and grow, she just performs for views. Someone notes that her public comment section is overwhelmingly negative, so why lie and say she receives support? Her answer? People message her privately. Of course they do. The mysterious supporters who cannot be named, cannot be quoted, and for some reason all communicate exclusively through Instagram DMs. That's not proof of support. It's just the absence of support reframed. And then she's confronted about deleting comments. She blames YouTube's filter. She insists she never touches it. And maybe that is true. Perhaps it is the platform that scrubs her comment section clean like a crime scene. She says this series is about accountability, but every question is just filtered through her comfort zone. It's just low-effort PR for a woman trying to control the narrative that I don't even think she believes anymore. And then we enter the linterview, Amberlynn's latest attempt to frame self-indulgence as vulnerability. This is where she allows her followers to ask questions with their voices, giving the illusion of intimacy while maintaining full editorial control. She's so brave. She's asked, what would your life look like without weight and trauma? Her answer? She'd be in Los Angeles, thriving, attractive, successful. Though of course she has no idea what she'd actually be doing, just that thinness would be her golden ticket to status and success. It's astonishing how she always reduces life, success, and self-worth to aesthetics. She believes that if her body changed, everything would fall into place. The tragic flaw isn't her body, it's her mind. Next, she's asked about the butterfly effect and if there's one moment she'd go back and change. She references a devastating trauma, one that she has spoken about before in different versions with shifting timelines. I'm not questioning the event itself, but if she intends this series to be about honesty and transparency, clarity should be a priority. Her history of weaponizing trauma, sprinkling it across uploads when engagement dips, it's why the moment rings uneasy. Especially now, framed among branding gimmicks and monetized segments. If this were such a sacred thing, it wouldn't be nestled between sweet and sour and bad choices. There are stories too serious for clickbait, and this is one of them. And the fact that she can't see that is pretty unforgivable. She then fumbles her own age, saying she was 34 10 years ago. It's just an honest mistake, but it still amuses me considering how deeply she clings to the illusion of self-awareness. She hopes that in 10 years she'll be thinner, happier, married. It's a charming fantasy for someone who only weeks ago was declaring she never wanted a partner again. But Amberlynn's consistency, as always, is that she has no consistency. I think this segment was meant to humanize her, to show the soul beneath the cycle. But it's just revealing what we all know, that even when asked genuine, compassionate questions, she answers with vanity and vagueness. She doesn't want to be understood, she wants to be validated, without changing a thing. And then welcome to Tea or Tale, the segment where Amberlynn attempts to fact-check her own scandals armed with shaky memory, selective remorse, and zero understanding of irony. She starts by debunking the rumour that you can't be diagnosed with BPD by a psychologist. Technically true, you can. But this is Amberlynn's favourite sleight of hand, addressing the wrong part of the criticism to avoid the real one. The concern has never been who diagnosed her. The concern is her ever-shifting timeline, the theatrical deployment of the diagnosis to excuse behaviour, and the complete inability to engage in treatment with consistency or sincerity. She treats BPD like an accessory, something to wear when convenient and discard when it's time to blame the audience. Next, her infamous ER Snapchat photos and cancer diagnosis proof. She admits the timelines are jumbled, admits she was impulsive, and admits she posts medical trauma out of spite. There is no virtue in trauma exposure born from vindictiveness. There's no strength in showcasing blood to punish your critics. This isn't honesty, it's retaliation wearing a hospital bracelet. And now she claims to have boundaries, after years of melting down on live streams and crying on the floor of her apartment over comment sections. And then finally we address the true scandal of our time, whether Amberlynn uses a filter during live streams. Her defense? I'm a boomer, I wouldn't even know how. She genuinely believes that ignorance is credibility. She doesn't even need the filter at this point. She is the filter. Everything passes through Amberlynn's lens of defensiveness and distorted before it reaches the audience. And then we arrive at Bad Choices, the final segment, presumably named in honour of her entire life. This is the portion where Amberlynn randomly selects deeply personal questions and then answers them with the enthusiasm of a bored barista and calls it content. It's not insightful and it's not entertaining, it's just overshare with a side of self-congratulation. First, has she ever told a friend they were being cheated on? She doesn't remember. She can't recall the high school she graduated from either, apparently. Her memory's just a revolving door, conveniently forgetful when it serves her, yet razor sharp when it's time to dredge up old grievances. As for sexting, not in the last 30 days. This, at least, I do believe. She's asked if she could go a month without masturbating. Her answer's probably not, and then she shrugs and asks, why would I? This isn't honesty, it's just indulgence disguised as transparency. Oversharing isn't vulnerability. She's telling us everything, so she doesn't actually have to tell us anything. She has apparently apologised after sex, though she cannot remember why. I can probably think of a few reasons, but decorum forbids. And finally, have you ever had a sexual partner who turned out to be gay? She replies with, well, I'm gay, so that makes my partners gay. How profound. The philosophical depth of a soggy napkin. And that concludes episode 1 of Let's Talk, a series not about growth, not about reflection, but about controlling the narrative with the precision of a fog machine. She thanks us for joining her, she hopes we enjoyed it, and she promises that if enough people dislike certain segments, she'll change them. This isn't introspection, it's market testing. She says she might add something new. How thrilling. This wasn't honesty, it wasn't bravery. It's just a rebranded Q&A. Until next time, darlings, drink deeply of the truth, and let us not mistake noise for vulnerability again.